then I'm going to announce both books. So the first one is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. We're covering chapter 23 through the end of the book. We do have a few trigger warnings with that book. Basically, trauma, death, loss, that sort of thing. If that makes you uncomfortable, you would want to step out now and come back at 8:30 if you wanted to cover. Hi guys, welcome Cicely, welcome Udi. I'm just doing a little announcement about what we're covering, and you guys are okay with me recording? Cool. Okay, great. We've already hit the little record button. This one was chosen by Nikki, one of our amazing members, and it's really cool because everybody submitted, but Nikki's never had a book chosen, so this is neat. So this one is called The Southern Books Club Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. And other than like fantasy stuff, maybe a little bit of gore. I don't think there so far any trigger warning. Hi, Melody. It's so good to see you.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here. So basically all I did was introduce the two books we're going to be covering, asked if it was okay to record, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the wheel spin for the vampire contest. And I wanted to tell Tiff, your shirt is on the way. It's supposed to be there by Thursday. And then if Robin happens to see this video, her book club goodies are on the way. She may have already gotten them by now. So let's go ahead and do the wheel spin really quickly. Okay, can get everybody see it okay? The little spinning?
Mhm.
Okay, let's do this. Oh, that's so awesome. What's the one? Okay, great. I don't know if Melissa's coming this evening, but I hope so. That's exciting. People can still read along and not come to meetings. That's totally fine with me as long as they input and, take part in the club. I don't know if you guys saw, but one of our members got to go to an author signing and they wore their cozy corner shirt.
Oh,
And so it was so neat for the author to be like, you belong to a book club. It was fun. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start with the sunrise on the reaping, and then as people come in, we'll go from there. Okay. So did anybody want to share any favorite moments or any of the thoughts and feelings, quotes on the end half of Sunrise on the Reaping? And we'll start with Cicely. And if you don't have anything to add, it's totally okay to say pass. If you do, I'd love to hear.
no, this book, that book. ah,
Oh,
So was such a bummer. And like, I knew Lenore Dove was going to die because A, girl, we always die. B, cute, nice, innocent, definitely toast. But it still pissed me off. And I I didn't like Haymitch in the other books, and I feel like I understand him better after this book. But also, and this is like my roots showing big time, I just want to grab him by the neck
mm-hmm.
and be like, listen, you dumb bitch, get it together.
Yeah, I had a lot of rage too. Gwen and I finished the book separately. And she cried, and I heard her at night crying, and she was
Oh
like, I finished the
man.
book. I finished the book, and I'm like, I have so much, I have so much rage.
Also, I'm like, okay, in this, again, showing my roots in this world that they are in. Like people get close to Snow all the time. And yes, you will die, but you will die anyway. Kill him. Kill him. Put your thumb in his eye. Do something. Like, my God,
Do
people.
something. Why have that? That's going to be one of our questions for me. So
Like,
I'm glad that you're on the same
yes,
page and experiencing that same rage of like, I want to burn all these bitches straight to the
right.
ground.
Yes, I'm like, violence is not the answer, but it is surely a answer.
That's very validating.
Like,
So thank you for
go get
saying
him,
that.
hey Mitch. What's
In
wrong
this
with him?
in this particular situation, yes, absolutely. Gwen, I know you had so much emotion. Like, so did you have like a part or a quote or anything you wanted to share?
Well, the part that got me was like he went through all this trauma of going through the games and he miraculously made it, wasn't planning on making it, comes home and his family, I heard that. His family is burned to the ground and knowing his mom and his brother are holding each other, that's heartbreaking. That's where I cried.
Mm-hmm.
Are holding each other in death. And then he goes out and he realizes snow is poisoning the love of his life. And at that point, it's like, for me, what would I do? I'm sorry, but I'd be sucking the poison out of her mouth. You know, I, I wouldn't want to keep going. I don't know what made him be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna live through this. Like I'd be like, sorry, I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. Enough is enough.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he had endured a insurmountable amount of loss. I'm right there with you. I agree with you. My feelings were when I realized that those gumdrops were not my gumdrops. I wouldn't have said a thing to Lenore Dove. I just would have had my share of gumdrops laid in the sunrise with her, and that would have been it. Jameson, how about you? I have decided that, like me, I'm gonna say the word wrong, but it's a masochist. Am I saying that right? Like the people that like pain, like Edward Cullen is the lion father.
Masochist.
And yeah,
masochist.
You got to get the
Yeah,
big S though.
you get off on the pain. I'm like, why are we like this?
I do. Yeah, in the books, life, everything. And I don't know why I'm like this. Um, I, there was a quote at the end. He said, let's see if I can. Um, I didn't want to let them in, her and PETA, but the walls of a person's heart are not impregnable, not if they have ever known love. That's what Lenore Dove says anyway. And like, I, I don't know, maybe it's like, yes, I'm a masochist, but there's a quote in one of the other books that says the only thing stronger than fear is hope. Um, and I can't remember if it's in one of the previous books.
Yeah,
And I don't know. I think maybe that's why it's like it gave me that little bit of hope that like I don't know. I think he really waited all that time to be able to find somebody that he thought this is
to
the
do it.
person that can blow the whole thing up. And to me, like playing that long game is um I don't know, like I'm a Scorpio. I guess I'm stubborn like that. Like I may not get you today or next week, but 25 years from now when you least expect it, I'm gonna I don't know. I've always loved Haymitch. Like the part that I love that they explained because it irked me that he called Katniss sweetheart, and I was like, because I hate that. Like, don't, I'm not your sweetheart or baby or whatever other you. I love that they explained it, because I think he did that because she reminded him of Luella. So I loved that, but um, I knew Haymitch had been through some shit, but this book was a lot.
Something else.
It's a
It was
lot.
something else. Did you catch that at the end he explains that his best friend, I think his name was Birdie, Katniss was his
Yeah,
daughter. So that
I
was the guy that kept never left. He had to like literally kick him out.
I I had read the other three books like twice. I think I read each of them twice, so I recognized like the names and the people. So I knew the minute he said his name that like, oh, I was like, oh, that's he.
Yeah,
They were friends.
yeah. I didn't catch it till the very end, but I love the fact that you liked him because the reason why I started the book was because you recommended it. And then I got into it and I stopped it. And then put it in here for this read. But what is so cool is that at the point that Haymitch is when he meets Katniss and Peeta is very similar to where I was when you met me. and you never ever turned away or faulted me for my anger, my trauma, my bitterness. Like the fact that you saw the good in me was like, oh, it explains so much of why you liked him. And you knew it came from a place of pain. Like you didn't, you know what I mean? I love that about you. So I can see why you like him. And my opinion's completely changed because I thought he was just a real turd. But now I get it, and it's just heartbreaking to me what trauma does to a person. So I wanted to welcome Emily. I know you didn't get a chance to read the last book. I'm so glad you're here. I love that you're a part of it. And Erin is back, and she's OG admin member. So welcome back, Erin. It is so wonderful to see your beautiful smile. Just catching everybody up. We did the wheel spin. Melissa won the wheel spin for the contest, and we just announced which books we were covering. And now we're going over our favorite quotes and moments. So we'll move on to Jessica. Did you have anything to add?
I don't know that I had anything to add. That the ending was just so upsetting and it kept getting more and more upsetting. It absolutely explains who he is as an adult. Um, I didn't really I knew that he had to have had some trauma, but had no idea it was at that level.
What kills me the most is I was really hurt by what happened in the arena. I was even more hurt about the loss that he came home. But what kills me is the 24 years of having two victors that he has to apprentice, basically, and he loses 48 freaking people before he gets to Katniss. And I'm like, my God, how much can one human endure? No wonder he stayed drunk all day. I don't even think alcohol's strong enough for that kind of pain. Like you're gonna
Mm-mm.
have, and that lives in a place where that like other things aren't easily accessible. I wouldn't have made. I just would have lost my mind. I would have been absolutely batshit. They would have been calling me bolts. Like the two little crazy ones that go nuts and bolts. They're in the other bones. I would have been wackadoodled. I couldn't have taken it. But it is infuriating and sad and frustrating. But like Cicely said, that anger is valid, and sometimes violence is a good choice when it gets down to this extreme. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what fueled him. Anger is a powerful emotion. Karen, did you have anything? Any quotes, any
Huh?
feelings?
I mean, I really loved this book. I was very kind of surprised that I liked it because knew nothing. I mean, I've heard of the Hunger Games, never saw the movies, never read the other books. So, um, I really felt for is it Hammett or whatever his name is?
Hamish. Uh-huh.
Hammett. So I felt really, sad for him and very upset for him because not only did he lose people that he knew, but the awful ways they died, and then his family being gone. Um, like kind of like Gwen said, I don't know if I could have survived that. I think I would have given up at that point. You know, um, but
I'm very curious. If you decide to read the others, I want to know what that's like reading this first
mhm,
and knowing him and his trauma and stuff before you get into who he is 24 years later. I
right.
would love to know your thoughts on that. So if you do take that journey, please post in the group or let us know in one of our sessions here because I would love to restart over and feel differently.
Yeah, I definitely am interested in reading the other series.
Yeah, she's a brilliant writer. As far as like this genre, she's by far my favorite. Yeah. Melody, how about you? I know that you felt some type of way because you had let us know and warned us, like this shit's about to get real.
Yeah, when I read this book the first time, I usually read in bed and I read on my Kindle or my iPad so I don't disturb my husband and he sleeps there and I try to cry quietly because I don't want him waking up in the middle of the night freaking out thinking something's wrong.
Yeah.
This one was tough. I mean, Haymitch in the other books, like I had sympathy for him just because of how many kids he had lost. I thought, that's enough. That would be
That
enough
was
to make
enough.
anybody turn to the bottle or the morphling or whatever. But then, in this one, it's like all these deaths are so directed at him. It's not like he's losing people accidentally. It's not like they just happen to get killed in the Hunger Games. They were directed at him. And it's like, and the hits keep coming. He just on and on and on and on. And I was a sobbing, hysterical mess.
Oh, I mean, it gut punched me so hard. The fact that and I do this, and it hits so deep, and I don't know if anybody else does, but when I'm hurting, I isolate so it doesn't hurt other people. He was forced to push everyone away. He could no longer make any more connections in the fear of that those people would be targeted, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's just devastating. He never got to be close to anyone again. It just,
Like Gwen said, I would have laid down and died.
I
That
couldn't have
that would have
done
been
it.
it. No.
Yeah. And he was haunted.
Mm.
I think like that poem and the significance of the poem with the Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Raven, it was pervasive. It was on a loop. It was like a song. You know how like you get an earworm?
Mm.
It never left him. He was just constantly haunted by it? Oh, ugh. Nikki, how about you? Congratulations on your book winning. I'm so excited for you. I was really hoping that somebody who had never got to choose and got a book. But what did you think about the ending of The Sunrise on the Reaping?
Dude, that book broke me. My
Yes,
coworker, and so I read it before this. My coworker and I were listening to the audiobook together, and we cried at work because it was just so heart-wrenching. Like, and it's not even just Hamish, like you had mentioned about nuts and bolts. We learn why they are the way they are too throughout this book.
I know,
And that
I
hits
know.
so hard. Sorry, I'm
Oh,
eating tacos and I just got it all over my shirt.
that's when you know it's good.
I know, right?
That's significance that it's something yummy. Um, we had decided to watch the other movies, not revisit the book, and
Mm.
they're in it, and I'm just like literally crying
Doesn't
for
it
them.
hit a different way? So I
I,
decided to go ahead and watch Song or Ballad of the Songbirds, and then I dove into the first Hunger Games. And there was certain phrases and certain things that Hamish was saying, and I was just like, oh, I know why you say that now. And it just like it hit on a whole nother level.
but that's what's so beautiful about the book, though. Like things that sit with you or move you emotionally or bring you to like feelings of yourself and stuff. I think that's what makes the book so special.
And I'm
Um,
hoping that she'll go and even do other tributes backgrounds too, because I would love to learn some of the others as well.
I have a question about that, and I can't wait to hear your answer. Um, so Udi, how are you doing, sweetie? You look absolutely beautiful. Who do we have on our shoulder? This is not Aurora, and it's not
That's
Ghost.
Timu.
This is one of the new babies. So they've grown drastically.
Yeah, I'm in the
Oh,
process of cleaning their cage. I just got done and I've got their food dishes ready to go back in, so they're
oh,
ready.
I love
Here
them.
here comes Yzma.
Oh my God, how cute. Did you have any feelings about the ending? Were you shocked? Did it
So
hit you
I
hard?
knew it was gonna happen, but I did not know that it was going to happen in front of him. I thought that he would get there and they would just be gone. I didn't think that they were gonna release Lenore. Like I just thought they would just be gone. But the fact that they got killed in front of him explains so much.
Oh, it's mind manipulation. It's torture. That was done on purpose. That was really, ugh. Yeah.
But you best believe that next fucking Hunger Game, I'm getting close to Snow and I'm fucking killing his ass.
Yes.
There's no way. There's
Yeah.
no way that I would go 50 more years and
No.
just
No.
I would have ended it. I would have gone out in a blaze of glory. I would
So
have taken him down with me.
Right before we read this, while Jameson was reading this, I was reading Songbirds, and I was feeling empathy for that bastard. So I said to Cicely when, she was like, he needs to die, devil's death. And I'm like, he's not that horrible. He has trauma too. And then at the end of this, I'm like, she was right. Like, I totally get it. Tiff, how about you? Did you have any favorite quotes? I expect that the loss hit you.
Yeah, I think that I kind of echo what everybody else has said so far.
Mhm.
I think that it's a really big statement on you can't fight the
Mhm.
man.
Oh, I hate that.
As much as I hate to say that because I am a fighter and I'm like, yeah, we can stand up and win. I think that unfortunately the odds are not in your favor. And that's obviously the point of why she wrote the books the way that she did. Uh,
Yeah.
the I I had a bunch of different quotes, but I think that like really the part that got me was at the very end when Plutarch is like, "Hey, how you doing, Haymitch?" And he's just like, "I have nothing to live for." And he just answers that way. And it's like matter of fact. Like he's not even saying it with any emotion at that point. He's just like, "I don't have anything else to live for." So I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is really bad."
It's really,
So,
really bad. It's really, really bad. And I love your realistic point of view and the fact that you always come with it like so straightforward, like, dude, there's no overtaking them.
mhm. I mean, look at what they do to the people that try.
I know. And it's
Like
like, it's not
you
you
want
at
to cheer
risk,
for those people, even like Katniss, right? Like you're like
right?
Kat, yes, and sorry if people haven't read the Hunger Games, but you're like, yes, Katniss, and she does. She stands up, she does all the but look at what she has to lose in the process.
No,
Like they literally take everything from her in the process.
they do. I do. There's even a point where she cries to Hamish as she's trying to revolt, and she tells him, like, you have to tell me how to shut up and make it through this because I don't know how, like, how did you stuff this? It's so hard. And as much as I want to say, like, September is Suicide Awareness Month and preface it with that. But when somebody has endured so much pain and they're at the point that Hamish was at, and there was nothing to live for and no hope, other than his promise to Lenore Dove and his pure anger, I don't know what kept him just like from not letting go, other than maybe he thought he wouldn't end up in the same place as them. That's another tidbit. Aaron, did you get a chance to read The Sunrise on the Reaping? Oh, good. Did you have any feelings or thoughts or favorite quotes? And I know you haven't been here for the other two, so it can be anything from the book.
I borrowed it from Libby, so I don't have it anymore to go back and look because I didn't make any physical notes. But yeah, I agree with you guys for the ending, especially. I was bawling. I was trying to read it while I was working because all I do right now is answer emails. So I was like, answer a couple emails, read a couple chapters, answer a couple emails, read a couple chapters. And I couldn't continue because I found myself just like I couldn't work. I was bawling too hard. So I was like, I better just stop this. I couldn't. And I wasn't here to hear what Gwen said, but somebody said that she would, that they, somebody said that, I don't know. I don't know what she said. That she would
That,
just lay down and die.
yeah.
That would be me. I would die of a broken heart. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. What and he literally had nothing else to live for. Every single thing was taken from him. And how lonely of an existence would that be for the remainder of your life to know that you can't build any sort of connection with anybody because it's not even that they'll get taken from you, it's that they will die. I
Yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't do it.
You have people like us, and then you have people like Jameson that are like, oh, I will get you. I don't care if it takes to my last breath.
Yeah.
You have these different, and I love that. Some people, and I think really looking at Hamish and his perseverance, he had that in him somewhere. It had
Yeah.
to have been at his core being.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, there's only so much fighting that I can do before I'm just ready to collapse. then I get it
Mhm.
completely. So I'm gonna go deep and then we're gonna go light before we go into the next book. So
Okay.
we'll start with Tiff, and I wanted to ask, it's hard, so you not have to share if you don't want to, but the thing that I really wanted to know about you guys is putting yourself in his shoes. What is the hardest loss you've ever had, and how did you endure and process your grief?
Yeah, I had a really tough time answering this question. Just because I think that I probably need to unpack this with a therapist, but I think that I like do not build attachments to people the way that like I see some of the characters in the book build attachments. That's probably thanks to my shitty parents. But so grieving for me is not necessarily the same. Like, I think that for me, when I get in a situation where I deal with like high intensity things, if they were to happen to me like that, like my instinct is to just go numb and shut down, no feelings, nothing. So that's kind of my dealing process. Um, I
No,
know that's probably not the ideal answer, but
no,
that's kind of
no,
what
it's
I
very, very, very valid. I don't know if you know your attachment style. I'm presuming that you do. But I have avoidant attachment as well.
yes. Yeah, I'm an avoidant attachment
Yeah,
100%.
I knew you were going on the same.
Yeah.
So I never, it's very rare for me to get to that level of intimacy and closeness where, because I'm preparing for loss the whole time.
Hmm.
So I do relate in that aspect. I really do. Udi, I know this is super sensitive. If it's something you can't discuss, it's totally okay. But if you would like to share, I would love to know.
I think I grieve every death still. I don't think I've ever had a way to deal with it.
Hmm.
Um, but definitely my best friend. I think it's probably because I didn't get a chance to really say goodbye.
Hmm.
My best friend was taken from me in a different state, and I couldn't get out there to her funeral or anything, so I couldn't even say goodbye properly. And then my grandmother was very unexpected. I thought I had a lot more time with her, and she just passed away very unexpectedly. And she was a very big part of my life. She
Yeah.
babysat me when I was a kid. You know, I was always at her house. She was like my second mom, and that one hit hard. And I think just not being able to say goodbye properly really, really
Hmm.
fucks with me.
I
And
will.
the fact that they were like Lenore was taken in front of him, I wouldn't be able to process that.
Yes. What he had it would have been considered compounded, conflicting grief. And I will tell you, there are online free virtual groups just like this for grief. I've done two of them. It hasn't done a whole lot for me as far as processing, but it did give me tools to like get through every day. But like you, when it's unexpected or it is unable to close properly, it lingers in a way that a person dying in their sleep at 85 happens. This is a normal expected feeling. And I'm not abnormal for not being able to like get past it because you never had any closure, you know?
Yep.
Nikki, how about you?
I'm gonna try and do this without crying. The year was 2014, and I had two severe losses within 2 months of each other. 2 months of each other. As a lot of you know, I lost a set of twins very unexpectedly. And when I say unexpectedly, I was 12 and a half weeks along, and I had just had an ultrasound of them. They were fine, moving around, jumping. And then 4 hours later, I lost them. No explanation. They don't know what happened. My body just all of a sudden aborted them. And then 2 months later, I lost my gram, who was also a huge part of my life. So that was a very tough year for me.
That is unfathomable to me.
Yeah. And I have definitely discovered through that that I shut down. I shut everybody out. I go into my own little hole. And it's to a point where I don't even know what I'm doing half the time because, like,
You're
I look back,
dissociating.
yes. And I look back and there's things I wish I would have done because I feel like I missed out on certain steps of losing them. But yeah,
It's never too late, just so you know.
I
Because
know.
that grief is yours and time is an illusion. So I'll leave you with that, and I'm so sorry. That
Well,
is
in a way, it kind of is like one of the things I wish I would have done because I immediately disassociated with one of the twins was I wish I would have held them, but I didn't.
yeah,
That's one of the ones I regret the most.
I totally can empathize where you're coming from on that completely. Melody, how about you, honey?
Um, I've had some I've had some tragic losses. Friends that have taken their own lives, drug overdoses, things like that. My grandmother, she was healthy one day, had a stroke, but she was also late 80s. So, that was not, I'm not going to say it wasn't bad, but it was not completely unexpected. I'm lucky because I grew up in a family that just deals with death head on. When someone dies, we sit down and we talk about those people over and over and over again. Like we get together and we still talk about them and still remember them and tell funny stories and being able to have that kind of support group and not have to shy away from it and not have to hide. And you know I guess it may be a bad habit, but even friends of mine that have lost someone, like I will start asking them questions about that person. And I've
Mm-hmm.
had people tell me that it helps. They're like, I don't like, I had a friend that lost a child very young. And I'm like, please tell me about it. Tell me what he was like. I want to know what his personality was like. I want to know what effect he had on your life. I mean, I want to know everything about this child because I didn't get the chance to know him. And I want you to remember the things that made him special to everyone.
You have such a beautiful way of doing that in like all different types of ways. When I was going through a really hard time, I was isolating. I didn't let anyone knew, and you somehow knew, and you reached out to me, and then you sent me a little shrink bracelet. Um, and you sat with me in it and let me tell you. And it's a beautiful asset to have. A lot of people get really uncomfortable when things get deep and hard, and you just show up, and it's so admirable. Oh, Karen, how about you?
Um, well, my hardest death that I've had to deal with was my mom. She was in her 60s and it was not expected. It went very quickly. And I'm not sure if it was Tib who said I deal with grief very similar that I disassociate and I get numb and I don't always want to talk about it unless it's somebody who knows me very well. So, um, it's I'm still devastated by it, but I don't express it as much as I feel it. So, um,
Hmm.
so yeah, and
Yeah,
she's been gone now for 13 years.
that's what I was
So,
gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah.
yeah. And I didn't get to say goodbye to her. It was really crazy the day before we were about to put her in hospice, she passed away that night. And I think she just said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going into hospice. Um, and I had gone home to go get some sleep and I actually fell asleep and I couldn't hear the phone ringing. So finally they kept calling back and my sister was like, she's gone. And I'm like, and I said, oh. And so of course I ran to the hospital, but was already gone. So
I'm so sorry. Mine is very similar. So I understand. And I've told my best friend's dad's been gone 25 years and we celebrate his birthday every year. And she still is devastated. And I've told her, like, sometimes time isn't a healer, sometimes time just impacts. It's just more longing, more missing, and that's okay. And the fact that you keep it private or you dissociate or you remove the feelings, it's just a coping mechanism. And it's very similar to the way Tiff and I live our life every day. We just don't allow ourselves to get that because we know what that abandonment loss feels like. So the fact that you had that with her is beautiful, you
Thank
know? Yeah. Jessica, how about you, honey?
you. So I think the hardest loss for me was my brother.
Mhm.
Um, we lost him in 2009, and he was my younger brother. And it was suicide, accidental overdose. I I will never really know what was going on, but he was a paranoid schizophrenic. So he had had a lot of mental health struggles, but it was completely out of left field. I ended up being the one to actually identify his body.
Oh,
Um, and I feel like with grief, I don't know that I've ever dealt with it. I just handled what needed to be handled, put out whatever fires needed to be put out, and moved on. Like, stuff it down. I had uh, two toddlers at the time.
you have to.
Um, I didn't have a choice. My ex husband it's not it was not helpful to me during that time. Um, but yeah, I was like, my mom was not in my dad was in no position at all to be helpful during that time. And my mom was grieving. So my job just kind of became to like make sure she's eating on a daily basis, make sure my kids are making it through the day. It's survival mode.
I look at you and you've gone through that quite a few times, like not that loss, but that survival mode. And I know how hard that is, but there's also something very admirable about the way that you handle adversity. You're a caretaker and you just kind of like make sure every fire is out. And I know that takes such a toll. But as a friend, as somebody who loves you, it's something I wish that I had the wheelhouse to do. It's hard to be that person. Very, very hard. So I commend you for being able to do it, but I know that you don't have the time or space to ever feel you. So thank you so much for being so open about it. It's just terrible. It's
Thanks.
heartbreaking. Jameson, how about you?
I I probably should also see a therapist about how I deal with it, but um, I don't know. I I tend to deal with grief based on how it affects people around me. Like, um, I think the worst one for me, like, I mean, I lost my dad, but he was older. He was not particular. It was unexpected, but it wasn't. It's like when you're almost 80, like it wasn't. He wasn't sick, but for me, anyway, I lost a nephew when he was almost 6, and I think like for me, the hardest part of that was seeing his parents go through that. Like I could tell he was born with a genetic disorder. So I could tell myself like he is not in pain anymore, but the people who loved him are. And I think when that happens, what I tend to do is, how can I help? What can I do? Like, it hurts me to see people that I love in pain more than it hurts me to be without the person that's not here. Um, I tend to be the person in my family that takes care of everything and makes sure people are eating, and like I'm just that person. Like, I mean, when my dad passed, somebody looked at me and said, I have I haven't even seen you cry. Like, are you okay? And I was like, look, I'm gonna deal with this not in front of everyone. Because that's just what I do. I do a lot of writing. I
Mhm.
do a lot of I'm better than I used to be, but when I'm really, really in a bad place, I get kind of self-destructive, and I try not to do that. But that's the part of it that I probably should speak to a therapist about. Um, but yeah, I mean, like Melody said, like, my family has always just dealt with death as, like, this is the next part of life. Like, this is they're not here, but they're somewhere else, and we have, like, as long as we remember them, as long as we talk about them, as long as we tell funny stories, like, they're still here. Um, so I think it's more like taking care of the people around me. Like, I hurt when those people hurt.
Mhm.
Um, I I know everybody hates when you say you're an empath, but I really am an empath. Um,
100%. I can
and
attest to
so
this.
it's more of me dealing with other people's grief that is hard for me.
I will tell you, as somebody who did that for many, many years, it was found out that that was a deflection from my own pain and dealing
I'm
with my,
sure it
and I
is.
did it as a way to avoid self-harming because it felt purposeful and I felt useful, and that made me feel better about me, and it kept me from doing toxic stuff to myself. But that being said, you still, that's a huge personality component for you. Even when people aren't going through something severe, the empathy that you have and that you establish is so visceral. And it's so, you just make it okay for anybody to feel what they're feeling. And so I'm sure it comes natural, instinct in that situation. And I'm so sorry about your nephew. That's too young. No parent should have to bury their child, ever. Gwen, how about you? Do you want to share?
My hardest one, I think, was my grandma. She was very much a mother to me. She raised me when I was really young, and then throughout my childhood, and did all like the mother steps, the things that you do with your daughter. Um, we were very, very close, and uh, I watched her die, and that was really hard, and I struggled with it for a long time. And my grandfather was in a nursing home, and I came to visit him, and he asked me, "Why are they locking me up? What did I do so wrong?" And I promised him I would move him home with me. And within 3 months, I had found a place for him that was handicap accessible, and moved him in with me. And I kept him with me until the day he died. He died at home with me. And I had him for 5 years with his dementia and everything. And through that, I think I was finally able to work through my grief with my grandma. Before that, I was horribly self-destructive with it. I was very, very upset about it. And after I had him, something just something just healed within me. And I've been kind of okay since. With both of their deaths. They've really kind of worked through. My grandpa, with his death, I really thought it would hit me really, really hard, and it didn't. Honestly, didn't. I was, I felt just like he was okay. And I felt sad, of course. But I didn't hold it in. I just let myself express exactly as I felt the whole time I felt it. I never held anything in. I never suppressed myself. And I don't know, I didn't have any destructive things that happened to me as a result. So that was interesting to learn that about myself.
You made atonement.
Hmm.
You paid it for. You did what your grandma would have done for him, I think is what makes that so beautiful. And taking care of somebody for 5 years with dementia, I don't think many people understand the absolute drain that that takes and the bravery that that takes. So I think that's so admirable. And she would be so proud of you and so thankful that he didn't have to sit in a nursing home thinking he was in jail. It's beautiful. Emily, do you have anything to share on grief and loss, or are you still just kind of chilling?
Sorry, I was just listening to everybody. Give me a quick second. Um,
Absolutely.
I've actually had a lot in the last couple of years. My brother-in-law suddenly passed away in 2022. My best friend's husband died tragically. My One of my best friend's sons actually suddenly passed at 25, 2 years ago in his sleep. So it's been kind of a lot around me lately. Um, but I think that everybody kind of copes in their own way. And I too am the kind of person where I tend to hermit a lot. I tend to keep a lot of things to myself. I don't really, when I'm in crisis or I'm dealing with something, I'm not the person who talks to anybody, which you and I have talked about. I'm not the person that does that. Everybody thinks like on Facebook and on social media, everything is all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns for me. And that's because I have that perpetual can't be a burden to a single other person. Um, so my lovely husband hears the bulk of it, and that's about it. But I think that yeah, everybody kind of processes in their own, and I'm always the person everybody leans on, which can get really difficult if you are the kind of person that takes on everybody else's burdens. And I know that we all kind of have a little bit of that trait in us. I think that's one reason why we all kind of really get each other's perspective, even if we all come from a different point of view. We
Hmm.
all understand each other's just because we all tend to be that person who takes care of everybody else. I think that it's best to understand and remember that grief is not linear. We'll go through every single phase of grief at different times in different processes. I don't believe ever that you get over it. I think that each and every loss, you are simply learning to find a new way forward rather than to get over it. And when you think you're fine and you think, oh, I can think about that person without, any real pain or tears or anything, you think I'm good. I'm good. I've accepted it and I'm moving forward. And then
It hits
something
you.
happens or something triggers, and then you feel like you're spiraling again. It's really easy, I think, in those times to start to kind of berate ourselves and be like, I should be over this. It's been 6 years or whatever, or it's been 20 years. I should be fine. And you don't have to be. I remind all of my friends who have lost spouses recently, some to suicide and some to just, traumatic events. Um, Nobody else gets to tell you how you grieve. Nobody else gets to. You grieve at your own rate, you grieve your own way, your own pace. You go through all your stages. You'll go back and go through some of them again. But nobody gets to dictate to you how you deal with your grief.
That's why I wanted to talk about it so much because I know it can be so isolating and alone and a pain we carry with us all the time. And you have been so validating for me and have said, I know you're taking on too much. I know you need to put some of that shit down. Let's do that. Let's figure out how to do that. Always reaching out to me about that. And not many people pick up on it like that and are so comfortable with telling me, Billy, put some stuff down. But I know that's because you've experienced it and you've carried it and you know what that's like. Somebody being able to see that part of you without any ever explaining it, it means the world to me. So Silly, I know that you are active in, you kind of like ride this wave with people a lot because of your career path, and you sit with people in pain. And I know a lot of those people, I don't think we get to that point of that kind of recovery with without having some kind of trauma or loss. I know without a shadow of a doubt some of these people have experienced it. And I know you're so wise on it, but how do you, for you, how does it affect you? It was hard for you.
I've lost a lot of people. Um,
Your best friend, I know.
yeah, well, my best friend of like 25 years, but the person that was my best friend before that also, and oh yeah, no, a lot of my friends. It's like a dangerous spot to be right by my side. But see, I joke about it like an asshole. But if I let myself run from it, and I'm not judging anyone else for doing that, I'm saying for me, um, I will never come back to myself because that's how I'm built. So I have got to just go and do. And I did. My best friend of like 25 years died of cancer a couple of years ago, and I had volunteered with hospice. So I had kind of like walked this road with a few people before, and she knew that. So she's like, "Hey, when the end comes, can I call and ask you to come out?" And like, I mean, and we were like dark humor queens and even worse together. So she's like, and we called each other bitch all the time. That was our endearment. But it's
Mm-hmm.
my bitch, so it's different. She's like, can you come out and like wipe my ass and like my drool and all that? Like, I do not want that to be my husband's last memory. I don't want that to be my mom's last memory. I'm like, I got you. I'm gonna come out and wipe your ass. No big deal. And that's what I did.
I
Um, when she was taking her last breath, everyone was running in and I was running out with all of the stuff wrapped up in a towel that she wouldn't have wanted in the room with them. Um,
you
some
amaze me.
graphic body things that were going on that but I've lost a lot of people. And what's funny is like here in Columbus, there was I feel like a lot of people know about it, but I had like a little art project for a while. It was like
Hmm.
5 years ago.
This
It's a
is
long
how
time
I
ago.
found you, by the way. So I love that you're talking about it. Go ahead.
And it was really funny because there was a bunch of people that were like, "Oh, this is like sunshine and rainbows and all this. Can you tell me about your sunshine and rainbows?" And they would interview me and I would be like, "No, it's not. I'm a soup sandwich and this is how I stay alive because I'm driving down the road bawling my face off between point A and point B and like my poor parents. This is like forever on the internet. But I'm talking about how like how you can like be sobbing and the only time I'm by myself is when I'm in the car. So I would like it's the only time I had to like really. And so it's like then you tuck your little tissue up under your eye and push your makeup back up
Yes, do
and
it all the
go do
time.
the next thing.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the tissue trick.
Hmm.
Um and I painted my grief all across the city for a little over a year, every other weekend. So I joke that I was Columbus's divorced dad. But
Yes,
I make
I
things. I
I
make
saw
things
those.
with it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I used to send Heather, we were roommates when we were in our early 20s, when I was at my most spectacularly
Vulnerable.
unwell and probably vulnerable and badly behaved. And but her birthday was on Christmas Eve. And she said something about like, and I have a birthday cake. 'Cause there's so many desserts. I'm like, oh no, we're having a birthday cake. And we're. And so I've gotten her a birthday cake every year. Even when I lived in Europe, I would send her birthday cakes in the mail and like package them really bizarrely so it looked like real sketchy when it showed up at her house and stuff. And then when she got sick, we had a good time. One of those boxes her husband still has in the garage because I altered it in a way that was funny. But when she got sick, she's like, go do something for somebody else and tell me about it. That'll be more fun for me. I can't keep cake down anyway. And so I still do that. And I posted about it when she was alive, and now it's like, this sounds insane, and I will own that, but I will at some point when I'm driving somewhere roll down the windows and tell it to the wind.
Yes.
Be like, hey, bitch, this is what we did. You're gonna
Yes.
love this shit.
Oh, no, I do it too. It's not insane. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You know,
You're an incredible human. You are so funny, but I know it comes from that dark place and that dark humor. And I think I get it and laugh so hard about it because like that's how I cope with it too. It's a detachment and a way of like making lighter of it. But those signs I saw them when I was driving and I finally like posted on Facebook about it and I'm like, who is doing this? Who is this person? I need to know this person. And that's how because I would be doing that. I would be in my car, the music would be on, I'd be in my feels, I'd be
hmm
bawling, trying to wing my eyeliner back,
yep.
and I would see one of them and I would just be like, oh my God, there's hope somewhere. Where is it coming from?
You know,
You know?
Griffin made t-shirts and we raised $1,500 for Kaleidoscope Youth Center with them.
Yeah, I'm not shocked
Um,
by this at all.
it was a good project. I'm like this much too disabled to keep it up. But I make things out of it and I own it because I am still this person.
Hmm.
I'm still the person that wrote all of these eulogies no matter what else. And I can let it kill me,
Hmm. Or we can
or
do something with it.
we can get real fucking weird with it. So that's my jam.
I love that because Jameson leaves it on the stage. I think that's why they're my absolute favorite performer. It is an emotional experience. You can feel every ounce of it. It's not just burlesque dancing. There is passion behind it. The way that you do your art projects, when you stand up and talk, the way Emily writes, the way that Tiff is now this like life coach, like all of you have taken this like dark, hard stuff and you're making something life changing for people. That's Gwen makes art, Jessica makes art. Like you found a way to transform it. And I think that it's the key of how to keep going. Somewhere there's something that propels you to keep going forward. And I would love to, I know from our personal experience that you haven't had an extensive amount of loss. Um, is there anything for you that has been really hard to get past that you still carry?
Um, I I don't know. Yeah, I've not lost anybody. Nobody. My parents had me when they were very young, so my grandparents are still alive. My all of my aunts and uncles and cousins and everybody, and I don't have a lot of friends. I never have. The friends that I do have, I've had since school, and they've not passed away. So I've never dealt with that before. So I don't know how I would react, but I know that I don't think I could be as strong as all of you. Sorry, I'm very emotional today. And
That's
hearing your
okay.
stories just broke my heart. I don't know how you can be so strong and get through it because even when I think about it now, like if I'm reading something or watching something and I put myself in the shoes of those people, it kills me. I don't know. I'm just so proud of you guys for being able to make it through because I don't think that I could.
You, I want to tell you that I was in your position. And I'm going to ask Stephanie to share her grief, but I'm going to, because of the way that you worded that, my whole life, I was terrified to lose my grandparents, terrified because they took the place of my parents. And um, so when I was 22, I was 6 months pregnant. I had a baby room. I already named her Bailey Sue. My grandma's dad's name was Bailey, and my middle name's Sue. She was Mona Sue. My mom was Daphne Sue. Had everything picked out. All I ever wanted to be was a mom. Lost the baby, birthed the baby. That was horrible. 6 months later, my boyfriend commits suicide in his car and leaves a death note saying that it was my fault. A year later, one of my closest friends, ODs, I unpacked all that. I went to therapy. It was in my 20s. I was okay. My late 30s come. It starts with my uncle getting hit on the freeway on a beautiful sunny day in the middle of the afternoon. Absolutely no traffic. Hit by a drunk driver, died instantly on impact. A year later, my mom gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, dead in 6 months. While she's dying, my grandma's having dementia and my grandpa's having a stroke, and I move in with them to take care of them. My cousin, whose dad had died in the accident, could not handle all the compounding grief and OD'd in the middle of the night. So we buried my mom, then we buried him. Then my grandpa had a second stroke. We buried him. 6 months later, my grandma died. Then I'm finally like, okay, this is over, right? I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to unpack this. It's going to be the same. My relationship of 11 years decides to cheat on me with a 16-year-old from Grand Theft Auto at 42. So I lose her too. And the only thing I had holding me together was, well, at least Stacy and I have our family. We've built our family. We have our dogs. We have each other. We're going to die together. We've been together 11 years. We've made it this far. That was holding me together. No, not that either. No, I didn't think I'd make it past any of those deaths ever in a million years. And I did all of them all together. You don't know how strong you are until you're in it. And it seems insurmountable and unthinkable, honey. But somehow you find a freaking way, and you'll look at your babies. And like I did, I had Penny Lane, and I know she's a dog, and everybody thinks I'm psychotic, but that dog was a human. And she was my child. And I thought, I'm not going out like that. I'm going to live my life for her. And when she died, Gwen can attest to this, I laid on the floor with her at 17 years old, petting her and told her, Mommy gave up so much life for all these people that died. I will never, ever give up a chance on living life. And every chance I get, I do. And I whisper it in the wind, just like Cicely said. I tell Penny Lane, baby, we're going to a concert tonight, or we're going to do this thing today. And I know that's silly because she's just a dog, but that was my way of coping. But it just happens. You just find a way. Stephanie, I know you lost your mama, and she was your best friend. And we went through that together. Our moms died almost, that mine first and your mom, they both had pancreatic cancer. But I'm like,
Yep.
Tiff, I didn't have a relationship with my mom like you did. It's the more like Karen. You're very close to yours.
I don't have grandparents either, and I'm also the only child, and I don't get to see my dad a lot. So it's tough, but Aaron, like like Billy said, you only know how strong you are until you go through it.
Mhm.
It's just you either live or you die, and your family and your friends, everybody that's up, if you believe in heaven or whatever, they're with you and they're watching you, they're in your heart. It's really tough. I mean, I'm still grieving my mom, to be honest, and I think that's what's going on with my anxiety right now. And I need to go to therapy more often. I do. And you got to take care of your mental health. I lost a cousin to suicide before too. He was my second cousin, and everybody said, I mean, nobody knew he was depressed. It just came out of nowhere. He was drinking. They don't know if maybe he had liquid courage because of the alcohol, and that's why he did it. But yeah, it's there's been a lot of loss. I'm sorry what you've been through, Billy. I'm sorry what all of you have been through, but I am so damn proud of all of you.
Oh,
I
me
am.
too. Me too. Yes. Big props for being able to endure. And I have a friend that's outside of this group, and they read really, my best friend, Angie, she's like my family. She's my best friend, another little girl. And she's like, why does this group pick like the most emotional, hard? Why is it never easy, romancy, lovey-dovey? And I'm like, I don't know. This group of women and they thems have non-binaries have come together and like we bond in our pain and push through together, and that was my favorite quote from the new book, was that she looked at them and she was like, these four people over these years, they, no matter how hard it gets, they are my people. And then like her book club, like that's what you guys are to me. I don't let people in like this. And we've created such a beautiful, safe space. And I love you all so much. We're going to end on a happy note. We are not going to dig because it's 9 o'clock and I don't want anybody's Sunday to run over. So I wanted to talk about the fling, the vampires. We're going to read all the way to the end of chapter 23. So if you haven't started, you can go all the way to the end of chapter 23 or chapter 6 to 23. I'll keep your questions for next week. And unless anybody feels like that's too fast, does anybody feel like that's going too fast? Okay. So we'll do that. And then if you haven't bought the actual book, there's some really cool stuff in here. Like he has a whole book club section, he has a map, he's got all kinds of goodies in here. It's definitely worth the purchase. And they have it for $7.99 on sale at the Book Loft, and some people found it on Amazon as well. The last thing I wanted to ask you guys, and it's funny and silly, but if you had to pick a young character, because like I said last time, we're going to have this, it's going to go into movie. Who would you pick to play Hamish if you had somebody in mind, or one of the other characters from the book? And we will start with Tiff.
Um, so I accidentally got this ruined for me
Really?
because
Has it been spoiled? I wasn't sure.
it's
Okay, go
been
ahead.
released. So if you are on TikTok and if you follow the Hunger Games on TikTok, they actually did a video to release each character. So I won't spoil it for you guys. You can go look it up. But I will say that um I can't remember his name, but the guy that they have playing Plutarch looks exactly like God, why can't I
The
remember
guy that
anybody's
that
name?
yeah, the guy from
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, looks exactly like a young Philip Seymour Hoffman. I can't remember his name off the top of my head now, but I was like, oh my gosh, like he looks exactly like him. So
Oh, I
I'll
can't
look that
wait.
up.
Yeah, I love when they do that. Like the new Dexter, like they found the young people that look just like that. That's awesome. Did you have anybody in mind, Stephanie, that you wanted to play like the younger versions or any of the, you know, tributes?
I didn't read the book, to be honest, because things were a little crazy.
Oh no, you have something to look forward to. It's a hard book, but it's fascinating. It's
I mean,
really good. Before the movie comes out, I would encourage you to read it if that's your cup of tea. But if you're having some anxiety, Erin posted a really fun, easy, lovey-dovey book. I would go that route. I would definitely take her recommendation. Udi, how about you?
My thought that pops in my head would be Tom Holland. I think he could be a good young Hamish.
Yes, he has that edge.
Yeah.
You know how like they're like a rascal? I can totally see that. Yes, absolutely. How about you, Nikki? Did you give any thought to it? No, no. Melody, how about you?
It's funny. Tom Holland is always my suggestion for anything, and it's always because of that lip sync battle that he did.
Yes,
That's why I recommend him for anything. And I don't know younger actors' names, and I
right.
also don't picture people when I read.
I
So
know we've talked about that. I
yeah,
do.
like I can't even think of anybody that I would suggest.
Yeah, that's so funny. I do. I see the imagery in my head. It's weird. And then I see the movie and I'm like, who the hell are these people? This isn't what I made up in my head. Karen, did you have anybody you were like, oh, I'd really like them to play?
I'm very much like Melody. Like, I don't know too many young actors and actresses anymore because I don't really watch a lot of TV or movies anymore. I used to be crazy movies, crazy shows, but I read more than anything. So,
Right.
and I don't picture people either. So, um, but this sounds funny. Lenora, I was just thinking now. I could picture a young Mandy Moore
Oh,
playing Lenora.
no, you're right with her singing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Totally see that. And
Like in a Walk to Remember when she was that young.
oh God,
Um,
yes, that would have been perfect. And she has that defiance in her, you know?
mhm.
Jessica, how about you?
So I thought about this a lot. Um, and I wanted to be like knee jerk reaction Evan Peters, except I have a real problem with actors who are not the appropriate age playing teenagers. So I was like, Evan Peters is like almost 30. That's not going to work for me. So I came up with Ian Armitage, the actor who plays young Sheldon,
Yes.
who is now like 17. He, I think, would be perfect because he's got the right, I feel like, the right body type.
Hmm.
He's not like
Yeah,
super bulky, but he could be portrayed as like sneakily powerful. But I feel like he's also got that air of mischief about him.
he does.
So that was the best thing I could come up with.
Yeah, I love that. I could see that. They would have to glam him up just a little bit, but I could definitely see it. Jameson, how about you?
I also picked Tom Holland for everything, and also because I watched that lip sync battle. Okay, maybe not daily, but a lot. Um,
Yes.
there's an actor on. There were two that I like. I watched these shows and I thought, oh, maybe, but I don't know anyone's name if they're under 30, so I don't know. There's a show called The Summer I Turned Pretty,
Okay.
and the little brother on that show I looked at and thought that maybe he would make a good Haymitch until I saw We Were Liars. And there is an actor on We Were Liars who is
Yes.
like this really pretty blonde kid, and I'm like, he would really make a good.
Oh my
I,
God.
I don't know his name. I can't.
Have you read the book?
No.
Oh, you've got to read the book. Such a good show. Made Gwen watch it. That guy would be perfect. Gwen, I know you're not really a character person. Like you're not an actress person.
I don't know names well, and so I don't really have anybody that I would pick for that. I just don't know actresses and actors well, so I'm gonna pass on this one.
How about you, Emily? Now you're a writer, so do you cast roles in your head when you write your characters?
So I sort of do, in the sense that I will have an idea on a character and I will be sort of visualizing them, and I'll think, oh, they kind of remind me of like a combination of these people. So when I do storyboards or I do things like that for my writing and my characters, there will be certain things that kind of are there, but it's not based on them. So,
Got it.
like in the one that I'm writing right now with them, Everything for You, need even another complete rewrite because I cannot ever be happy with it. My initial thought in the visualization was actually Tom Hardy.
Oh, okay.
So there's some aspects of kind of that visualization and some of his characters that he has played in that character, but it's not really based on him. But I had asked in the chat, I was curious how many people, when they read,
I
do they
do.
actually visualize a book? So, like, if you close your eyes and they're talking about a purple apple, do you see a
Yes.
purple apple? Or are you just imagining that the apple would be purple? Do you hear voices? Do you actually hear different voices in your head? It's not me reading when I read.
Yeah.
So it's the same when I write. It's not me telling myself the story. It's me watching the story happen.
Yes. I love
So I
that.
don't so like when I read, I do a little bit in the sense that I'll visualize a person, but I don't necessarily associate them with a specific actor.
I get it. I get it completely. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a visualization, but it's not
Not
necessarily
necessarily
specific
tied to
actor.
a certain person.
Mm-mm.
Cicely, do you have one for any of them?
Thingy. Hell yes, I do. So, but because this is like the fantasy world, I'm just gonna assume I can make any of the actors I know younger because they were younger once. Fuck it, right?
Right?
So, like young Matthew McConaughey,
All right, all right, all
I
right.
think so. Right, but like young as a young man.
Yeah.
Super young Clint Eastwood. He could do
Oh,
it. He would be great.
yeah.
I like him. I can't think that he's hot because he looks a little like my dad. He's a great actor.
Okay, okay.
No, no, sorry. He probably smells like Old Spice too. I can't do it. And then I had to look this guy's name up. Matt Bomber, Bomer.
Yes.
As a young
Oh,
man, do you know who I'm talking about? He
yeah,
was in
I
White Collar.
do.
He's the one in
Just
white
like,
collar. I love him.
yes, I think him as a young man would be great as Hamish, like young Hamish.
Yes, excellent choices. Aaron, did you picture anybody? Sometimes you do that.
Well, sometimes after someone asks me and I think about it. But when I'm reading, I can see like detailed scenes and sort of like a blob of a body, but I can't see what their face looks like. And so
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know who I would pick. I guess like thinking about it now, I don't know a lot of the younger actors' names, but maybe somebody in my brain, what I'm picturing is someone who's like shaggy, like surfer-esque kind of. Maybe like one of those young boys from the Outer Banks or something,
Oh,
because it's
yes.
got long hair. Something like that is what I'm assuming
That
that he
is
would.
very similar to the person in Tell Me Lies. He has that whole vibe, and it would be perfect for that. For me, I want Chapel Roan to play Effie Trinket so
Yes.
badly, so badly. I think that would be the perfect embodiment of her at that age. But so we're all done. I want to thank you all so much for staying a little extra. Jameson was right. I should have listened. Splitting this in two was a bad idea, but we gave it our best shot, right? We tried, but we will cover all the way to chapter 23 next week. Happy reading. I love you all. If anybody needs to talk about anything after this, if it was hard, message me. Okay? I love you. Take care. Thank you all so much. Bye bye.